Hey, what's going on, guys? I am the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual. I'm the Chiseled Adonis, and I'm back with the Intellectual Jackass podcast, NFL podcast for 2017, the season. I should have did it, prior to the Patriots getting their asses whooped by the Chiefs, but nonetheless, we're gonna get it done. I am extremely ecstatic that the result of last night's game. I was very happy. Watching Tom Brady and the Patriots lose always satisfies the soul. It's almost orgasmic. I got an erection just watching them walk off the field in defeat. But let's talk a little bit about the Kansas City Chiefs. Alex Smith throwing for 368 yards. I think he had 4 touchdowns. This man had how many incompletions? I'm not even too sure. I think it was like 7 or something. Ridiculous. He out Tom Brady. And that rookie running back, you fumble on the first carry. You come back and run for like 146 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. I think he caught a pass on a 78-yard touchdown. I think he ended the game with 98 yards receiving, like 250 plus yards all purpose. The most ever by a rookie in their first start. Ridiculous. I have never seen something like that. That was a phenomenal performance, I must say. But the people who are saying, the Patriots are kind of old and all this other stuff, because originally I predicted this year is going to be Tom Brady's last year. It's probably going to be Bill Belichick's last year too, depending on if he wants to say, okay, let me see if I can prove myself without Tom Brady. I don't know what it is, but it seems as if every quarterback, once they turn 40, everything that can go wrong does go wrong. So I don't know if it's going to be injury. I don't know if all the pieces around Tom Brady is going to get injured. I don't know what it was. But yesterday, you already saw it. There was a lot of injury bugs. You had Dante Hightower go down. You had Eric Berry. Although he was on the cheeks, he ended up going down. There was somebody, Julian Edelman already got hurt. Danny Amendola had a knee problem. He ended up getting hurt. And then Tom Brady, he got sacked, or I should say he got hit one time in the backfield, and he came hard down on his knee. He popped right back up. But looking at the Patriots' offensive line, they weren't as good as they were last year, and I don't think they lost anybody. I don't know what it is, but it seems as if once a quarterback turns 40 and they're still, they're being praised that, still being able to compete and get the team to the playoffs and possibly the Super Bowl. Once that happens, for some apparent reason, everything goes wrong. You've seen it happen with Favre. You've seen it happen with Kurt Warner. You've seen it happen with, who else went to their 40? Peyton Manning was approaching 40, but I guess, you could say Peyton Manning too. He ended up getting hurt, so I don't know what it is. But I don't think Tom Brady's going to be able to, get this season going. Although you play in the AFC East, and you could bench Tom Brady all season long. Like Belichick can go into a coma and they'll still win the AFC East. So that division absolutely sucks. But let's talk a little bit about, the other teams, of course. Pittsburgh, I'll save it for last. But we got the Jets playing against the Bills. The Jets are going to lose. They have absolutely no quarterback. I have no confidence in the Jets. Although they're going to probably stack the box with 9 and dare Bryce Petty or whoever the hell is the Jets starting quarterback to throw the ball, they still won't be able to get any completions. Who is the Jets' number 1 receiver? I have no clue. I have absolutely no clue. I think it's Anunua, and he's like a number 2. It's his second season. So that's kind of ridiculous. I don't know what's going on in New York. They pretty much blew up the entire franchise. And to think this is a team that was in the AFC Championship 7 years ago makes no sense to me. As for Buffalo, you had the issue last year with Tyrod Taylor. Do we want him as a starting quarterback? Do we not want him as a starting quarterback? I don't know what it is. Then you ultimately bring him back. I don't understand that. Offensive line is okay. You have Shady McCoy, who's a top 5 running back in this league, but I don't think he's going to be able to produce that much because you have no weapons. The Buffalo Bills, who's their number 1 receiver? What is it? Jordan Matthews? And I'm not even sure what his health situation is. So, and they lost Robert Woods, they lost Sammy Watkins, but I don't think they're going to really be able to generate any offense. But ultimately, the Jets, they absolutely suck. They traded Sheldon Richardson away. They lost like 2 other people on their defensive line. They don't really have any corners. I can't tell you a linebacker who's at least close to possibly making it to a Pro Bowl by mistake. So they're going to get destroyed. The Bills win that game handedly. You got Atlanta taking on Chicago. I like Mitch Trubisky. I like the way that he plays, but Chicago, their number 1 receiver is who? I think it's Kevin White now, because Alshon Jeffrey left and he's at Philly now. So I think number 1 receiver is Alshon Jeffrey. I think it's Kevin White, who's coming off injury, but ultimately they're not going to do anything. And again, same thing. Howard, is it Juwan Howard? Juwan Howard, last year he had a quiet, phenomenal season, but I don't think he's going to be able to, replicate that this year because they're going to stack the box and they're going to be coming hard off the edge to sack, Mitch Trubisky because the Bears, they don't really have that well of an offensive line anyway. And as for Atlanta, they're going to win this game because who's going to cover Julio Jones? It's not happening. Who's going to cover Mohamed Sanu? It's not happening. And Devontae Freeman coming out of the backfield, I think he's not going to have a big day, but he's going to be catching a lot of those flare passes for Matt Ryan. I say Matt Ryan throws for like 400 yards or something like that, but Atlanta wins that game handily. Baltimore, Cincinnati, you got a team battling between, phenomenal injuries on both sides. The Ravens defense has been getting a lot of praise, going into this season. I don't know what it is, but it seems as if they was talking about they have to really rely on their defense to actually go out and win games. They had different articles talking about this Ravens defense can rival the 2000 Ravens defense, which I highly doubt because who are the big names on that defense? Seriously, who's their best player on the defense? CJ Mosley? Like, come on, man. Or Eric Weddle back there. Their corners are okay. They can play man coverage better than, what we got over here in Pittsburgh. We got Hayden in there. I'll talk about that later. But in this game, because the Ravens have practically no offense, who's their starting quarterback? Ryan Mallett. Joe Flacco's still hurt, so I don't think they're going to be able to generate an offense there, no matter if they have Jeremy Maclin and Mike Wallace on the opposite sides of each other. I don't think they're going to be able to generate offense. As for Cincinnati, everybody knows every time they play, AJ Green destroys the Ravens. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he had some sort of issues with Ravens in his childhood. I don't know if he grew up around crows. Whatever it might have been, when he plays against the Ravens, this man goes off and he destroys. Now, for the running back situation with the Bengals, I don't know if it's going to be Jeremy Hill, if it's going to be Giovanni Bernard, if it's going to be Joe Mixon. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's going to be getting the carry, who's going to be getting a bunch of those workload, whatever it might be. I think they're going to be able to run against the Ravens defense because, the threat of AJ Green, I think they're going to keep the safety over top or possibly put the linebacker outside, depending on where they line up AJ Green, of course. And then you also have John Ross, who's coming in, who ran that 4.22, 40 time. Now, I don't know about his availability this game, but you still do have Brandon LaFell, who's a respected receiver in the league. So they're not going to be able to really double the way that they want to. And Andy Dalton in the regular season, he's still, he's an all right quarterback. So I think the Bengals will come away with that win. Arizona playing against Detroit. Interesting game. I believe Arizona will win because still on paper, Arizona is one of the better teams in the league, but they just have to be able to piece it together. I personally believe this is going to be Carson Palmer's last year as well, because this is, in all honesty, his roster that he has right now, he has no excuse. Like last year, they had ups and downs, but injuries is what ultimately took them out. But this year in particular, this is probably their last year where you have that defense that's intact. Your offense still has those pieces over there. Larry Fitzgerald can still go. You got David Johnson coming back from injury. You got a tight end that's there. John Brown's on the field. I'm not too sure if Gerard Brown is still there. Defensively, you got Patrick Peterson in that back in the secondary. You got the Honey Badger in that secondary. You got good linebackers. You got a good front four. So I think they'll be able to defeat Detroit. Second, for Detroit, they have no running game. It's really just Matt Stafford getting the ball to Golden Tate, Matt Stafford getting the ball to Marvin Jones or Eric Ebron. So he's going to bring the team down the field. I think he's going to be able to generate some points, but ultimately their defense is suspect. You do have that linebacker, is it Levi? Whatever it might have been. He's stout. He's good. I like him. And in the secondary, you do have Slay. You got there's another corner who's out there. I can't remember his name. It's probably gonna come back to me later when I'm not even talking about them. But yeah, you got Slay out there. He's good. The front four, they have an okay front four. It's nothing that's to generate some pressure. So they're gonna have to bring the blitz. But the problem is, you bring a blitz against Arizona, they're gonna get Fitzgerald coming underneath, or John Brown coming underneath, or David Johnson going out on a curl or a flare. So I see Arizona winning that game. I don't think they're going to win it handily, but I see them winning the game. It might come down to the fourth quarter or something like that. Jacksonville playing against Houston. Houston is playing for the entire America right now. So Houston's going to destroy Jacksonville. So for some apparent reason, Jacksonville has all this talent on paper. If you look at the Jacksonville roster and you expect every player to play to their potential, this is a team that can go into the playoffs and possibly go deep into the playoffs. into possibly an AFC Championship team if everybody plays up to, their standard. Blake Bortles has a high ceiling. For some apparent reason, this man is a Mr. Pick Six. Every time he throws a pick, for some apparent reason, is going to get returned for a touchdown. He can't seem to throw the deep ball anymore. He doesn't have accuracy. I don't know what it is. This is the same dude who threw for like 33 touchdowns 2 years ago. I'm not understanding what the hell his issue is. Allen Robinson, 2 years ago, led the league in receiving touchdowns. I don't know what the hell's going on with that dude. Allen Hurns went 8 straight weeks with a touchdown. Last year, he was darn near non-existent. You have Julius Thomas, who pretty much Peyton Manning gave this man a contract to go to Jacksonville, because if Peyton Manning wasn't his quarterback, nobody's really talking about Julius Thomas, but he can still play, exceptional football at the tight end position. For some bad reason, I don't know what the hell's going on with him. You got Chris Ivory, who was running for 1,000 yards with the Jets' sorry offensive line. He came over to Jacksonville. He can't do anything. You just drafted Fournette. I hope he can do something. Their defensive line is ridiculous. You have Malik Jackson, won a Super Bowl over there. They have like 2 other people on the defensive line who could possibly be perennial Pro Bowlers. You have a linebacking core. You have a secondary with 2 corners who could possibly arguably be the best cornerback tandem in the league when Denver finally, gives up that throne. I don't know what's going on in Jacksonville. I do not know what's going on in Jacksonville. But in Houston, although you don't know who the quarterback is going to be for the season, because I really think it's going to be Tom Savage, and then he gets either hurt or he throws an interception and Deshaun Watson comes jogging out onto the field and it's his job, because ultimately it's going to be who can get the ball as many times to DeAndre Hopkins, and that quarterback is going to be the starting quarterback. The running back situation over there, Lamar Miller, he's good. I like Lamar Miller, but I don't see Jacksonville being able to stop Houston. Houston's going to roll over them. And J.J. Watt, I think he's going to have like 3.5 sacks. I don't know why, although he did have the surgery on his back, and you're going to need that core. You're going to need that leverage to really get, to the quarterback. It's just something about that dude that's just superhuman. I see him dominating the offensive line for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's going to get 3.5 sacks. He's going to be all over SportsCenter. I don't know why. I just have a hunch. I think it's going to get done. Oakland and Tennessee, I think this could possibly be the game of the week. I see Tennessee winning that game. I see Tennessee winning that game. Why? Oakland cannot stop the run. They're phenomenal against the pass. Let me not say phenomenal. They're good against the pass, but they can't stop the run. DeMarco Murray is going to run for like 150 yards. I don't know why. I have this feeling. I think it's going to happen. I like the fact that Marcus Mariota, he's coming along and he's really trying to prove himself in this league. Like, all right, I can possibly be, a little bit underneath elite. Like, he can get to the Joe Flacco area just without a Super Bowl ring. He can get to, that area better than just average. And I like their receiving situation. You got Eric Decker that's down there. You got Delaney Walker at the tight end position. You still have like 2 other receivers around, on that team that could show up. You never know when they're going to show, because last year they didn't have a definitive number 1 receiver. Now they have that with Eric Decker, and Eric Decker can really play ball. So I like that. Again, with their running back situation, you have DeMarco Murray, and you also have Henry, who's back there. I'm forgetting his first name. You got Henry, who's back there too, and he can run the ball. And defensively, Tennessee, they're all right. I like Tennessee's defense. As for Oakland, you're coming in with Marshawn Lynch. He's a year out of football, so I don't know what his shape is going to be like, in the game. I'm not sure if they're going to give him a heavy, workload, because in the preseason, he didn't really have that much carries, and you can't really gauge somebody's performance based on the preseason, because nobody really, except with, Dak Prescott last year, but that we're not talking about the Cowboys right now. So, and the receiving situation with Oakland is very good. You have Amari Cooper, you got Michael Crabtree, you got I think James Jones went back over there. It was Jacoby Jones. Yeah, I think I want one of them. I think not Jacoby Jones, but I think James Jones ended up going back to Oakland. I'm not too sure if he's in Green Bay or he went back to Oakland. But I like their offense. I think it's going to be an offensive battle, and Tennessee's just going to come out on top, kind of like what happened when Tennessee played Green Bay last year. But I do see Tennessee winning that game. Philly playing against Washington. That's going to be a good game too. But Washington's going to win that game, because for some apparent reason, Philly comes out strong, but they just can't close. They don't. If they drove, like everybody who drives for Philly. Like if all of the players on their team who has a license, they don't drive, on manual cars. They all drive automatic because they don't have the clutch in their car. It's just something about that team. They just can't finish when you need them to finish. And Washington, Kirk Cousins, he has another chip on his shoulder again for this year, back-to-back franchise tags. He has something to prove. I think Washington's going to go and win that game. You have Terrell Pryor at receiver. You did lose Deshaun Jackson, but I don't think there's anybody who's going to be able to guard Terrell Pryor. It's just something about that dude. I think he's going to be able to go to the Pro Bowl this year and really solidify himself as a top receiver in the league. Jordan Reed, as long as he just doesn't get concussed, this dude could possibly be one of the better tight ends. Let me not say one of the better tight ends. He's the best tight end in the NFC. He's challenging Greg Olsen every single week for that spot. So I think he's going to be able to, prove it this season if he can stop himself from being concussed. But ultimately, he can't stop himself. Other people are hitting him. And the running back situation for Washington isn't that good. But for Philly, they did bring in LeGarrette Blount, but I don't think he's going to be able to replicate the same success that he did in New England and bring that over. So I see Washington winning that game. It's going to be a close game, but I see Washington winning that game. LA and the Rams and the Colts. This is going to be a game with low ratings. Nobody's really going to be watching the game. I wouldn't. Andrew Luck's not playing. Your starting quarterback is Scott Tolazine. You got old man Frank Gore, who can still go in the backfield. Tolazine's not going to get the ball to T.Y. Hilton. I don't know why. Andrew Luck can't seem to stay healthy. I don't know what the deal is, but the Colts, their defense isn't even that good anyway. Offensively, when they have Andrew Luck in there, it's all right. They did lose Dwayne Allen. You don't have Colby Fleener. So I don't know who they're going to try to get the ball to. It's really just T.Y. Hilton, Dante Moncrief, and nobody else. So I don't think they're going to be able to do anything. And the Rams, I'm not sure what the situation with Aaron Donald is. I probably should have looked that up. I don't know if he showed up to the facility, but I see the Rams probably winning by like a field goal or something. It's going to be a low-scoring game, but I do see the Rams winning. I don't think Todd Gurley's going to have a big-time game because I'm not sure what the situation is with, Jared Goff, if he's able to really get the ball downfield to different receivers and stuff like that. So I think they're still going to do what they did last year and stack the box against Todd Gurley and make it really frustrating for this dude to run the ball. So I do see the Rams winning, though, but it's not going to really be a big-time game. I don't think it's going to be, something that people really want to watch. You have Seattle and Green Bay. This is going to be a good game, but I think it's going to be defensively. I think the defenses are going to show up. Green Bay's pass defense absolutely sucks. I could go and start quarterback, and I think I'm be able to throw for 300 yards against their defense. They suck, but for some bad reason, I feel like there's going to be a defensive sort of game. I think it's going to be low scoring. Everybody's expecting it to be high scoring, but I think it's going to be low scoring because Aaron Rodgers, he plays well, but for some apparent reason, when he plays Seattle, he doesn't really play his best. And Russell Wilson, I think he's going to kind of get exposed this year. He's going to probably do too much, and then he's going to end up, costing them the game. But I do see in this particular game, I think Sheldon Richardson will probably be the difference because of that D-line. So I see Seattle winning probably like 24-21, something like that. Carolina, San Francisco. Carolina rolls over San Francisco. I think Cam Newton probably has the performance of the day. Probably throws for like 400 yards or something like that. Runs for a couple of touchdowns. Throws for like 4 or something like that. Probably like 6 total touchdowns. I don't know why. Christian McCaffrey probably gets in the end zone a couple of times. Kelvin Benjamin's going to have a big game. Greg Olsen probably have like 50 yards. Defensively, who is starting quarterback for the Niners? Like, come on. Their running back is Carlos Hyde. Who's their best receiver? I have no clue. What is it, Jeremy Curley, who just came back? It's not happening. San Francisco is going to get destroyed. Carolina rolls. I think they probably score like 50. The Giants and Dallas. I see the Giants win because for some reason, whenever the Giants play Dallas, they beat Dallas and they play Dallas the best in the entire league. Now, given you're in the same division, so you should. But the Giants win. Although it does matter if Odell Beckham is fully healthy. He does have that ankle issue, and they're saying it's questionable whether he plays or not. But for some just tells me they're going to beat Dallas. I don't expect Dallas to be as good as they were last year. Now, if Ezekiel Elliott does play, which I think he might, I still don't see it doing anything because that $200 million defense that the Giants signed up for, they're going to take Des Bryant out of the game. Jason Witten will probably be the person who they got to dump it down, but he doesn't have the same relationship with Dak Prescott that he did with Tony Romo, so I don't think he's going to be getting those kind of targets. If anything, it's going to be Cole Beasley who will be moving the chains for the Cowboys. But I think the Giants probably win by like a field goal or something. It's really a give or take with that game. It's really a give or take. New Orleans playing against Minnesota. I think Adrian Peterson's not going to have a huge day. I don't think he's going to have a huge day against his old former team, although he'd like to. But the Saints' offensive line sucks. So I'm not sure how he's going to be able to generate, the sort of runs that he wants. And Drew Brees, he can throw against any defense. So I think Drew Brees is probably going to throw for like 400 yards or something. But if he can establish that pass and they come out pass first and then run like the draw or something, I think Adrian Peterson can go over 100 yards. But I do see the Saints winning. I think this is going to be their big year to, take over the division. There's just something about trying to rebuild that defense. I think the offense will give the defense enough confidence to where they can go out there and at least get them a couple of stops, because that's all Drew Brees needs. Give him a couple of stops, he can win you games. Chargers in Denver. Denver wins that game because of their defense. Offensively, they still don't have that solidified quarterback spot, but defensively, they could go against anybody. I do like the San Diego Chargers offense. I like the fact that Keenan Allen's coming back. I love Melvin Gordon. I like Antonio Gates. I like Hunter Henry. I like Mike Williams, the draft receiver they just picked up from Clemson. I really like Phillip Rivers. I'm hoping they can come out and win this game, but for some apparent reason, San Diego always has an injury, or in the fourth quarter, they throw the game away. They play perfect through 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, they no longer can play football. They just like what's going on in Philly. All of their everybody who drives a car for San Diego, or I should say Los Angeles now, none of them have a clutch in their car. They all drive automatic. They have no clutch. Denver wins. And Kansas City beat New England. So, and Pittsburgh and Cleveland, come on now. Is that even a question? Pittsburgh's going to roll over Cleveland. I see Martavis Bryant having a big day out of everybody. Although Le'Veon Bell does always have a great game against Cleveland, I think it's going to be Martavis Bryant who really steals the show. I think Le'Veon Bell's going to go over 100 yards, probably like 150 all-purpose, but defensively, I say Joe Hayden has himself a couple of picks, possibly a pick 6. I think the defense will be able to generate at least 7 sacks. TJ Watt has a big time, game. There's going to be something about the Watts on Sunday, but the Steelers win handedly. I'm just really hoping Big Ben doesn't get hurt. I'm hoping we can come out of the game with no injuries, but that's how I see it this week. And my picks, the people to win. Ultimately, last year, I think I had a positive record. I think I only lost like 21 games throughout the entire season in my prediction. So it's pretty good. I think I beat everybody on NFL Network. But yeah, that's the way I see, this week going. But for regarding fantasy, that dude, Kareem Hunt, ridiculous. I was not expecting that from the Kansas City Chiefs at all. But I'm happy that it did happen. So look forward to this Sunday. Go out, get yourself a beer, celebrate. Football is back. And with that said, I am out. Again, I am the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual. I'm the Chiseled Adonis. You're listening to the Intellectual Jackass Podcast, NFL Edition. Week 1, football is back. Y'all have yourselves a good afternoon.